Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the strange and absolutely fascinating worldview of a 19th century French occultist named Eliphas Levi. He promised a single key that could unlock reality, magic, and our very place in the cosmos. And he kicks things off with this incredibly bold claim about the power of the human will. You see, for Levi, your will isn't just some passing thought. It's a real force that can literally create or destroy. This really sets the stage for a journey into a universe where our minds are believed to be actively shaping reality. So how on earth did he get to this pretty wild idea? Let's dive in. Well, the core problem Levi was trying to solve was the great intellectual battle of his day, this perceived war between science and religion, between what we know and what we believe. He saw this division as a deep wound in the human soul, and he came up with a radical solution. We're going to follow his argument in 4 parts. First, we'll see how he tried to unite science and faith. Then we'll explore this strange, universal substance he thought was the bridge between them. From there, we'll get into the incredible power he claimed our will has over this stuff. And finally, we'll see how this whole system gives a brand new perspective on the mystery of death itself. Okay, first up, how can these two things that seem like total opposites, science and faith, ever come together? To explain their relationship, Levi uses this really powerful metaphor that kind of frames the whole problem. He saw science as a paralytic. It has eyes, right? It can see the physical world with perfect clarity, but it's stuck. It can't move towards the really big questions. Faith, on the other hand, is like a blind man. It can walk, it can move towards the infinite, but it can't see the path in front of it. By themselves, they're both incomplete. So Levi's solution wasn't for one to crush the other. Not at all. It was for them to cooperate. Science becomes the eyes, and faith provides the legs. Together, they can navigate both the physical and the spiritual worlds and become this complete being that can understand the whole of existence. And the way he connects them, the bridge between these two worlds, is this idea he calls analogy. Basically, it's the idea that the universe is built on repeating patterns. The laws we can see and measure in the physical world, that's the domain of science, are a mirror of the unseen laws that govern the spiritual world, the domain of faith. You know, as above, so below. Okay, but if these two worlds mirror each other, what's the mirror actually made of? This question leads us to Levi's most central and, most mind-bending idea. He called it the astral light, or the great magical agent. Now, this was an era fascinated by invisible forces like mesmerism and electricity, and Levi proposed his own. I want you to try and picture it as this universal fluidic substance that's just everywhere. It's not just empty space, it's an active medium that acts as the canvas for all of reality, and it responds directly to our minds. And check out the incredible properties he gives this stuff. He believed the astral light is like a cosmic memory bank, holding on to images of everything that has ever happened. It's also a sketchbook with rough drafts of worlds yet to come. This makes it the tool for divination, seeing into this cosmic record. But it's also the engine for miracles because, and this is the key, he claimed it can be manipulated, shaped into physical form or dissolved back into nothing, all by the focused power of your will. I mean, that's the obvious question, right? Is this all just a fancy idea? Or did he think you could actually, see it? Well, Levi believed it was very real, and he pointed to some pretty bizarre stories from his time as his evidence. He looked at all this spooky spiritualist phenomena that was sweeping Europe and America back then, these strange happenings around mediums like Daniel Douglas Home. For Levi, these weren't tricks. This was proof, the astral light being shaped by a powerful will into a temporary physical form. Okay, so if this universal stuff exists, and if it can be shaped into hands that literally pop out of tables, what is the force that's doing the shaping? According to Levi, the answer is inside every single one of us. So this is huge. The crucial point is that our will is the sculptor. In Levi's universe, we are not just passive observers. Our thoughts, our intentions, our desires, they are active forces that directly stamp themselves onto this astral substance and through it shape the world around us. And this power, it's not just out there. It has direct, physical consequences for our own bodies. Levi argued that our moral state, our good side and our bad side, is constantly shaping our personal little bubble of the astral light, which he called the plastic medium. This medium then acts like an internal architect, slowly changing our physical bodies to reflect what's going on inside. And he took this idea to a very literal conclusion. He truly believed our character becomes physically etched onto our faces over time. A good soul would develop harmonious features, while a malicious one would literally end up with a venomous glance. So in his view, physical beauty wasn't just the luck of the draw, it was a physical sign of inner harmony and virtue. But here's the catch. It was only alone. If a person's inner goodness soured, he believed their physical beauty would just fade away, as nature took back her capital. All right, so Levin has built this whole system that explains the link between mind and matter, between our inner and outer worlds. But does it hold up against the biggest mystery of all? What happens when we die? Here he gives us his most powerful analogy. Think about an embryo in the womb. Its whole world is the womb. Its body is the placenta. The moment of birth must seem like a terrifying end, a death. But it's really a birth into our much, much bigger world. For Levi, our human life is exactly the same. We are the embryos, our world is the womb, and our physical body is just a temporary shell. Death is simply our next and maybe terrifying birth. But, and this is a big but for Levi, this birth isn't guaranteed. He warned that a life totally dominated by vice was like a kind of spiritual miscarriage. Instead of being born into a new, higher existence, that soul would be born before its time and suffer what he calls the second death, a complete and final dissolving into nothing. So there we have it, a complete, interconnected cosmology born from that 19th century clash between reason and belief. It's a universe where science and faith can be friends, where a subtle, living light connects everything, and where our will becomes the ultimate creative, or destructive force, shaping our bodies, our lives, and even our eternity, all unlocked by that one key. And that leaves us with Levi's final provocative question. It's a thought that just reframes our entire existence. If this life is just a preparation, a gestation period in the womb of the world, then what exactly are we preparing for? What kind of being are we developing into?